What's up, y'all? So I know everyone has probably seen the BET Awards. I watched it last night, watched it live. And I have to say, I loved how Taraji P. Henson, who was the host, I loved how she kicked it off. She did her version of Kendrick Lamar's hit, Not Like Us. And, she applied it to her life as an actress and wanting to be paid fairly. So it was a great lyric. And, she did her dance and she dressed like Kendrick did during his Juneteenth concert. And I guess technically kind of how Drake dressed in one of his videos that arguably Kendrick was kind of mocking at his concert. But anyway, Taraji did a great job. Just overall, she did have a little issue, I guess you could say somewhat of an issue with Keith Lee. She didn't recognize who Keith Lee was, because Keith Lee is a food critic online. And I believe he did some type of sport, forgot what it was. Was it kickboxing or something? I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I know that he is an athlete as well. But he's really known for being a food critic online, and he gets millions of views. So a lot of people do know who he is. But look, I'm sure Taraji was, well, obviously she was very busy that night, had a lot on her mind. She probably was given a script and told to look out for Keith Lee in the audience. And maybe she just didn't realize who Keith Lee was. And she pretty much mistook him for another TikToker. And, it is what it is. But apparently Keith Lee may have been in his feelings a little bit. There's a video of him apparently putting the rose that she gave him ultimately on the ground. And he pretty much said, at some point we want to be known in every room and make sure there's no confusion. He has since deleted that video, so I won't show it here. But, it's whatever. I mean, Taraji meant no harm. And again, it was a packed night. I mean, it was a very long show. I think the show was over 3 hours. But, that was just a moment she had. But overall, I felt Taraji did a great job. And the performances that stood out to me, obviously Will Smith, he did his, I guess you could say his debut performance at the BET Awards. I mean, he's hosted the BET Awards. Many of, I would say the younger generation mostly know him as an actor, but, he was a rapper first. But he was more of a rapper in the late 80s, early 90s. So he never really performed as a rapper on the BET Awards. But he did last night and he did a wonderful job. And I think it's a great idea what he's doing. He's pretty much acknowledging that he had a rough time 2 years ago, but he's rising from the ashes. That's in essence what he's saying. And to me, it's a great message because it doesn't just apply to him. It applies to all of us. That was pretty much his point in the song that, look, out of some adversity, you will triumph from that. And he had a good special guest with Kirk Franklin. So it was just a very uplifting song. And I think it's a good idea for him to do, considering, what he faced 2 years ago. And, he apologized, but now he's pretty much showing you that, look, he's on the path of just continuing to better himself. But let's just keep it real. Look, Will Smith, he had a bad moment at the Oscars. And yes, it was a very bad moment. But overall, he has always been or has always shown himself to the public as just a great guy. So like Usher said, we'll talk about Usher a little bit later, but like Usher said during his speech, we have to become a society that learns to forgive, but Will is still loved. Will is loved all around the world. I mean, his film with Martin Lawrence did well. So, does he really need to do any type of apology again? I don't think so. I think he's fine with where he is now, but that was Will Smith. And another performance that really stood out to me was Victoria Monet. She's one of the newer artists and she's just really standing out. I could see her having a very long career. I just really love the production of her performance. Sexyy Red, I liked her performance on the second song. I have to admit, I had to do a double take when she started because she started singing and I don't know. I mean, she sounded a little bit off key, to be honest, but maybe that was kind of the purpose, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I think what she's more of a rapper, right? But I liked the energy of the second song though. That to me was good. You know, I was dancing to that. And then you had, of course, actually the grand finale, Lauryn Hill. When she came out, I mean, she to me just proved why she's not only one of the best female hip hop artists, if not the best, she is one of the best hip hop, R&B, but definitely one of the best MCs, period, male or female. Her lyric skills, her cadence, just everything. She's just completely at another level. And it was great to see her son come out and perform. You know, that shows legacy. I mean, her message was powerful. Wyclef came out from the Fugees, so it's great to see them together because, I mean, they made a lot of great classic songs together. So it's great to see them back and strong and still performing together. And from what I hear, they're working on a new album, which is quite awesome. So, you know, it was just a great moment with Lauryn Hill. Now, prior to that, of course, we had the Usher tribute. I personally liked the tribute. Now, some people online didn't like it because they felt like there could have been some male performances. But you did have Childish Gambino. You know, he came out. I loved his opening with one of my favorite Usher songs, Caught Up. I love the arrangement of that. They kind of smoothed it out. And then boom, Keke Palmer came out and did her songs for Usher. And it just shows you just how multi-talented Keke Palmer is. She's not only a host or an actress, but she can dance, she can sing. She's a true artist and she did a fantastic job. And you have to admit, it was a great layer there because we know, what was it, about a year ago, there was some controversy when Usher was serenading her and all that kind of stuff. So it was great to see her perform for him. You know, it to me, it made a statement, and just how, like Will Smith said, we can all just move forward and triumph and continue to triumph. And that's what Keke Palmer to me is showing and honoring Usher, who seemed to enjoy her performance. Now, back to it being all female, I think that is pretty obvious why it was, because Usher has spent the past few years in Las Vegas serenading women. So I'm going to assume that the curator of this tribute felt, you know, let's have women serenade Usher. And, you know, they kept the lyrics the same, you know, because some people were wondering that, like, why were they verbatim, you know, just almost like singing to a girl. But yeah, they kept it authentic. But I loved how they did that. I loved Coco Jones when she came out and she literally did what Usher would do in Las Vegas, kind of serenaded the audience, sat on people's laps, etc. She even got to Usher and his wife. And I loved her decision to start with Usher's wife first, which to me shows respect. So she serenaded his wife and then she went to him. And, you know, they just had a nice playful moment and she did a great job vocally. Chloe Bailey did a great job. Tinashe, she did a great job. And, you know, I think she did Nice and Slow. And then you had Bad Girl with Tiana Taylor and Victoria Monet. Now, they did some moves. I think they did like a 69 move that definitely shocked some people, but they did a wonderful job. So, I mean, it was just overall, to me, a great tribute and overall a great show. I have to admit, though, there were moments where I was like, I don't need to see any more. But that's just the way it is. So, but, you know, that's the music industry that really needs to start finding more diverse talent. But that brings me to my other point. There was some diversity at the BET Awards. They brought out some Black country artists. You had Shabuzi. You had some other artists come out. So, yeah, it was a great show. You had Tiny and T.I.'s daughter perform. So there was some good diversity. But overall, I still feel the music industry needs to go out there and scout some more talent. But I know that the industry has changed. It's all about artists who have a following or go viral and then they get a deal or whatever. But hopefully we can start, particularly with Black music, bringing back some more diversity into the mainstream, because there are a lot of great independent artists out here who are singing and doing the thing, but we need to see them more in the mainstream. But that's just my venting of the music industry in general. Now, one thing during the Usher tribute or after the Usher tribute is when he got up there and did his acceptance speech. Now, I saw it live. So when you see it live, what happened was pretty much his entire speech was muted. And it was really because Usher decided to drop a few F-bombs on television. And we all know BET is like, we're not about to pay those fines. So I guess instead of guessing if he was going to drop more, they just pretty much muted him. But I will say it was frustrating hearing that live because, of course, you wanted to hear what he had to say because he seemed to be saying some pretty profound stuff. I guess the theme of his speech was about fatherhood and about forgiveness. And he brought out all the men who have supported him throughout his career. And pretty much, I guess you could say he looked at them as father figures, from L.A. Reid, Babyface, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, Jermaine Dupri, etc. So all of these men were up there who supported him, and he wanted to make it clear that these men are solid individuals who have always been there for him. But yes, his speech was pretty much muted. Folks were upset about that. But the good news is BET has posted the speech on their YouTube channel. I'll link it below, and you can hear everything he had to say. But overall, the BET Awards was good. Glorilla also did a good job. So yeah, I mean, just a lot of great performances. But the highlights for me, Taraji's opening, Victoria Monet, Usher tribute, and Lauryn Hill, and of course, Will Smith. Those were my thoughts. Share your thoughts below. I'm Stacey Brewer, and this is H Blues Word. Peace.